The Big Bang. It sounds cool, doesn't it? Like something out of an action movie. A suitably dramatic name for an event that marked the origin of the entire universe. But wait, have you heard the news? What if a rumor is just a rumor and a theory is just a theory? Well, some spy with their little eye claims James Webb Telescope just disproved the Big Bang theory is a lie. But why? The Big Bang Theory. Now envision this. There's a hot, infinitely dense single point out there. Nothing more, nothing less. Let's call this single point the universe. Suddenly, with no explanation, space itself, not the universe, begins to expand. It's like preparing a biscuit or a piece of cookie where the dough at first only reaches the size of a coin before suddenly growing to the size of a wall clock. It eventually keeps on expanding and expanding. When they hear the word bang, most people assume that the Big Bang was a massive explosion. If you will, like a grenade or one of those dramatic explosions you often see in movies. Technically, there was no explosion though. You may well be thinking right now that it should have been called the Big Expansion. In this case, the word bang is not used in the literal sense, but rather as a metaphor for how everything comes into existence. Time, matter, energy, and force were all created 13.8 billion years ago as a result of this rapid expansion. This theory was first proposed by the Belgian cosmologist and Catholic priest Georges Lemaitre in 1927. However, English astronomer Fred Hoyle was the one who coined it the Big Bang in 1949 as an insult to the theory and to its proponents. He thought it sounded absurd, so he called it that. How scientists came to believe in this theory. If you want to know if something is true, you need to find some evidence that proves it's true. Two major scientific discoveries provide strong support for the Big Bang theory. One was Edwin Hubble's discovery in the 1920s. According to him, he found that galaxies are moving away from each other at a faster rate than they would if they were at rest. This suggests that everything in the universe is expanding away from each other, and that there must have been a point where everything came together as a single point or explosion at some point in history.
This was the first real evidence of the Big Bang.
Listen. This sound is the first evidence of the Big Bang, and this is...
The second was the discovery in the 1960s of the cosmic microwave background radiation, or CMB, by American radio astronomers Robert Wilson and Arno Penzias. The CMB is the afterglow of the Big Bang. It's like when you're making a cake and you put in too much baking soda and it explodes all over the oven. Except instead of the crumbs being in your oven, it's everywhere in the universe. That's kind of like what happened with the CMB. If you could see it with your eyes, which sadly you can't, it would look like a big speck in space. We know about this speck because it reflects radio waves that have interfered with Holmdel-Horn antenna at Bell Labs where Wilson and Penzias were working. Theory or a fact? Even though the Big Bang theory is considered a theory, it's still pretty well proven and is the accepted explanation of the evolution of the universe up to this day. While we can't say for sure that this is true, we have good reasons to believe that it is. That being said, some people don't believe in this theory at all. They think the universe started with something else, like a giant egg or the mythological tales written by ancient scribes. The article and image that started it all. Recently, rumors about the James Webb Space Telescope, or JWST, disproving the Big Bang theory have been circulating. It is allegedly causing a panic among scientists who study the origin and development of the universe, or better known as cosmologists. The JWST is a large multi-purpose space telescope that was launched in 2021. It is intended to examine nearly every wavelength of light that is invisible to the naked eye, and that telescopes on Earth cannot identify. Its mission is to observe the earliest galaxies in our universe and search for signs of life on planets beyond our solar system. If you want to know more about this amazing telescope, you can find it in our channel and can watch it after this video. In case you haven't heard, there's a new image of the early universe captured by the James Webb Space Telescope, and it shows the deepest view of space ever seen. On July 12, 2022, not even a year after the JWST was launched on its mission to explore the cosmos, NASA released the deepest infrared image of the universe yet. This cosmic shot of the universe looks as if it came out of a sci-fi painting and is breathtaking to anyone who sees it. For the skeptics, this image is yet another piece of evidence supporting the theory that the Big Bang never occurred. On August 11, 2022, almost a month after the image was released, an article was published with the headline, "The Big Bang Didn't Happen. What do the James Webb images really show regarding the latest JWST image?" This article spread like wildfire in an instant, confusing readers and spreading false information. To anyone who doesn't know much about cosmology, this article sounds convincing, leading to some agreeing with it, while scientists and cosmologists beg to disagree. What did the JWST image actually show, causing all of this confusion about the Big Bang Theory? See this red blurry spot here? This is Glass Z13, the oldest distant galaxy captured by JWST. This is what's causing a lot of enthusiasm in the cosmology community. However, it stirred confusion among the general public. It also became the hook of the article that claimed the Big Bang didn't occur. This article says that there must be some strange optical illusion if the universe is actually expanding. A line from the article even stated, "Galaxies or any other objects in expanding space do not continue to look smaller and smaller with increasing distance. Beyond a certain point, they start looking larger and larger." This is contrary to how science has already explained that an object will appear smaller when it's farther and farther away. But why does the article claim it doesn't match with the already proven and tested science of optics? Well, the article explained that galaxies appear larger because their light is supposed to have left them when they were closer to us. The article did not limit the arguments to only one subject. Of course, one needs multiple pieces of evidence to prove and back up claims. It even pointed out the connection between redshifts and the Big Bang. A redshift is light shifting more into the red color in the 7 spectrums.
And also, the further away a galaxy was, the more its light was red-shifted.
Redshifts of galaxies up to 5 satisfy the assumptions of a non-expanding cosmos, according to a study. This study had faith that JWST would find the same result, which it did for galaxies with up to 12 redshifts. This again would contradict Hubble's law of cosmological expansion. Moreover, the article even wrote that some of the galaxies shown in the cosmic shot were even older than the galaxies after the Big Bang. The notion that these galaxies exist implies that the Big Bang did not happen, because remember, nothing should have existed before the Big Bang. Did the James Webb Space Telescope really debunk the Big Bang theory? Thus, the big question is, did the James Webb Space Telescope really disprove the theory of the Big Bang? 2 letters. No. The Big Bang idea has never been proven untrue by the James Webb Telescope. Let's fly back to the Glass Z13, the oldest galaxy that JWST ever discovered, and the image that started the confusion. While it's true that scientists have found new data that we've never seen before and that changes what we thought we knew, it doesn't mean that the whole theory isn't true. The great thing about science is that it's always changing. It's like every now and then, new data comes out and we're like, "Oh my god, I didn't know that." And then we have to pick up the pieces of our old theories and put them into a whole new picture. That's how we get closer to understanding how the universe works. On the contrary, it's backing up the theory. In a science article, scientists have observed that galaxies were in fact smaller and eventually expanded over time, just as the Big Bang claims. To also set the record straight, Alison Kirkpatrick was misquoted. In an interview, Kirkpatrick said, "Right now I find myself lying awake at 3 in the morning and wondering if everything I've done is wrong." Her line was taken out of context to fit it into the narrative that scientists were going into a frenzy because of what JWST discovered. What Kirkpatrick was really referring to was how they were amazed and surprised to see that galaxies had more structure and were well organized so early in the universe. That doesn't mean she believes that JWST disproved the Big Bang. She even quoted a tweet on Twitter saying, "Just because somebody says something online doesn't mean that the author's claims are true or even make sense. Skeptics evaluate what they read before promoting it to others. Without this, the probability that we're just promoting misinformation is astronomically high." Lastly, Dr. Becky Smethurst, an Oxford astrophysicist, even posted on her platform that the article circulating wasn't true, as JWST might have been showing data they've never seen before and changing what they thought according to her. So, was the Big Bang debunked? Not exactly. The James Webb Space Telescope never disproved the Big Bang. It's important to remember that science is always learning. It's not a static thing. It's always changing and evolving. That's a good thing because it means we can keep learning more about the universe around us. So, do you believe in the Big Bang Theory, or do you think there's something else going on? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear some more of your thoughts.